Hello, Holly Times viewers. Judy Shields here. Today we are so excited, and I mean excited, to be welcoming Cori Kidder. She's got this amazing play out there in Sierra Madre, Holiday Spectacular, a 1940s Christmas Revue. How you doing?
I'm so well. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited. I just got to meet her on Friday, and I can't believe it's Monday already. Right?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
Oh, with the holiday and then opening weekend, I'm yes. What day is it?
I know. It's like, did you not eat very much turkey to be ready for your, opening night on Friday, right? On
You know
Friday.
what? I ate plenty and I was worried, but I thought, you know what? YOLO. You only live once and I'm going to eat all I want. And, it worked out fine, I think. So,
Yes. So let's just talk about how did this come about?
well, my first show at Sierra Madre Playhouse was Always Patsy Cline in 2015. And it was the best-selling show in the history of the theater.
It was.
So since then, they've been having me back as Patsy Cline. And I was speaking with the president of the board, David Gordon, and he mentioned that they would like to start just having me as me, be able to say just Cori Cable Kidder. They probably will always say Sierra Madre Playhouse's Patsy Cline.
Yeah.
But he really wanted to make it possible for me to just be recognized on my name alone. And I thought that was such a huge compliment. And so he basically let me write my own ticket and said, what kind of show would you like to do? And I've always wanted to do a USO inspired show. And so I took the reins and here we are.
I know it's amazing. And I mean, I have to tell folks, you've got to go see it just to see her come out in a uniform. And it's just like let's talk about the costume too. And then we'll talk about the music. This is going to go on for a while.
Well, I was searching for an authentic Women's Army Corps uniform, and I found this gentleman who runs a business called SM Wholesale, and he costumed movies like Greyhound, Saving Private Ryan. He did some of the moon. He did the moon camouflage for Ad Astra. So he's worked with really big name actors and is all about authentic World War II era uniforms. And so he was selling these whack uniforms. And I thought, well, I've got to get in on that. And so, I bought one of his custom reproductions with shoes, hat, and everything. I went online and got a couple of little whack insignias for my lapel. And it was really important to me to be as authentic as possible for this show.
Yeah. And then you picked, how did you go about picking music? Because you had like wartime music, you had, of course, holiday music. And I have to say, also, folks, you had a couple of costume changes, which is amazing. Your red, long gown that turned out to be a nice little, another type of one piece, which was like, all right. And then your black evening gown. It was just beautiful. Like, that's your costume. And how did you pick, which songs to go with this?
Well, for the beginning of the show, it was definitely more military inspired. So, and, I was only able to put in a fraction of the songs that I love from that era. I had to include a couple of Andrews Sisters songs, and I really wanted to showcase sort of the emotional viewpoint of the songwriters and the people of that era. So White Cliffs of Dover was so important. I'll Be Seeing You, which appears later in the show. But as far as my second act costumes go, Ann Miller in Easter Parade was a really big influence for my red ensemble, because she had sort of this tearaway gown that she wore when she tap danced. And so I really wanted to have that, the sort of musical theater of the 40s featured in that red. And then my black velvet gown is a direct callback to Rosemary Clooney's gown in White Christmas. She had on this lovely black gown when she sang Love You Didn't Do Right by Me, and the white gloves. And it was just really important because White Christmas, I do several songs from that movie, like Gee, I Wish I Was Back in the Army, and obviously White Christmas. And from the stage production, my opening number is Happy Holidays, Let Yourself Go. So I really wanted to call back to that film and to Rosemary Clooney, who's such a big inspiration for me.
Yeah, it was just amazing, you know, the actual music and your costume, and I'm sitting here like trying to keep myself from not moving. I'm snapping my fingers and I'm looking up at you and I'm swaying. And then you know, I was with a friend and I'm like, let's just go out and let's just dance in the aisle. It took everything I had not to get out and dance in the aisle.
I wish you had.
I
That would be
wanted
so
to.
fun. We should encourage people to do that, I think.
Yeah, because it was like it was like hard. And then also I love tap dancing, and to see you, I saw the shoes up there. I'm like, oh, I hope that's gonna be like she's gonna do tap. And where did you learn that? You did an amazing job.
Thank you so much. I was a tap dancer before I was anything else.
Oh.
When I was 3 years old, my parents decided I needed some extracurricular enrichment for my energies. And so they took me to the dance studio, and I started learning tap dance and performing in dance recitals at 3. And I stayed with that studio until I was 18 years old. And then I began, I started choreographing musicals when I was in high school and went on to choreograph musicals in college. And so that's another, my other passion is choreographing and teaching dance. And so I had to make sure that was a part of my holiday spectacular.
Yeah, because I don't see tap as much, and you've got to get out there and start teaching it to these youngins, because we can't lose that art. It's amazing.
When I was a child, tap dancing was very vogue. And then, with the arrival of So You Think You Can Dance,
Yeah.
and the World of Dance, this really, aerobic sort of what we used to call lyrical dancing, came into vogue, and tap dancing sort of fell by the wayside. And so I really am hoping that we can encourage, or at least those of us who are tap dancers can encourage kids that, you can do a layout and the splits and be a contortionist, but also like tap is just as cool and just as mesmerizing. And so I hope that we can sort of bring tap back into the forefront in the coming years.
Yeah, thank you for having it in this, because it does get you to pay attention, and it's like music itself. I mean,
Absolutely.
and you came out there and you did that first number and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be out of breath, but just watch me go. And you did a great job. I'm out of breath just watching you.
It's that, and that wool uniform does not help.
Right?
It's a 3-piece, long sleeve, 100% wool, and it is not forgiving. But you have to be true. You have to make sacrifices.
You did an amazing job. I'm like, I am sweating for her right now so much.
Thank you. I needed that help. I really did.
Oh my gosh, that was just something. So, well, to be a producer, what did it take for you? You have research, you have like writing down notes. What does it really take for you to have produced a show?
This was my first time producing. I produced my Patsy Cline show last year.
Okay.
But that felt like such an old hat. I'd been playing Patsy Cline for so long, and I didn't have to do as much what we call dramaturgy, where we research the time period and the person and who we're playing. So that didn't feel quite as daunting as this did. Researching actual videos of USO shows. I'd had a pretty good grasp about the music of the era just from my past with my tour that I was on called In the Mood, and being in an Andrews Sisters tribute group for 10 years now. So I was familiar with the music of the time, and I just needed to familiarize myself with basically the way a USO show was set up. Some of I feature a quote from Franklin Delano Roosevelt from one of his fireside chats. Yeah. So just researching maybe the daily life of someone who was alive during the 1940s, who had a victory garden, who was rationing, in their home, and what sort of the war effort meant to just a regular old Joe, and also what the war effort meant to a soldier in the European circuit, and who would have been watching a USO show and what they might have wanted to see.
Yeah. So is that one of your dreams, to go out and do one of these?
It would be really
tours?
nice. It really would. I know that they have several bands out there, big
Yeah.
bands that still do touring and perform for the troops. And I just think that would be a wonderful opportunity. A great service to those who give so much for us. Yeah, I mean, if they call, I'll go.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to try to find somebody to connect you because you have such a beautiful voice. And how old were you when you discovered your voice?
I sang in church from the time I was growing up. I was a 3-time-a-weeker, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. And I grew up in the Church of Christ, which is all a cappella music. So 4-part harmonies. And I learned to harmonize at a young age. But as a soloist, we didn't really have many solo opportunities at church. So as soon as I started school, we would have these Christmas programs. And I think my very first solo was Go Tell It on the Mountain when I was in 2nd grade. And from then on, I just really, I discovered musical theater and I thought, I could dance and sing at the same time. Like, this is the best thing in the whole world. And so then it was sort of all over for me after that.
Yeah, we could tell you got some pipes there. Beautiful. It's like,
thank you so much.
Now, what would it take for you to be able to get permissions to have an album of these songs? It was so amazing.
Thank you. It's very simple. It just requires like monetary. So you go on and there's like, for instance, I've been looking at a website online where you go and you plug in all of the songs you'd like to put on your album and how many albums you'd like to make. And then you just have to pay, let's say, $5,000.
Okay, like royalties or something.
Yes, for 500 CDs.
Oh, okay.
But then, if you want to have a band in the studio, like Take My Band, so I would need to pay them for the studio time. So you might be looking at somewhere around $8,000 for a single album, which is a lot more than you might think. So it's all, I have dreams. I want to make a Patsy Cline album. I want to make a 40s album. So it's all about getting the funding. And like, that's another aspect of producing that I'm not really as familiar with, but I'm trying to familiarize myself with. So absolutely, albums are in the future. I'm just trying to figure out how to finance them.
Do a GoFundMe. Come on.
Right, let's go. Absolutely. It would be a great idea. That's actually that's a wonderful idea. Yeah, I should look into that.
Cool. Now, I noticed that when I went on Friday, thank you to the Sierra Madre Playhouse for inviting me. It was amazing. I noticed there was an older crowd, it's from the 40s. So how do we get these? Because in my article that I'm writing, it's like, this is a great date night, to bring the one you're in love with. You could go have dinner, amazing food across the street. It's amazing songs. And yet they even have tickets for teenagers. It's like, get those kids off of their video games and, and bring them. It's because, there has to be a way to get these youngins to come out and see this holiday spectacular, because it's amazing.
I think that it's good to remind, especially like, millennials or Gen Zers, that a lot of this music, so much of it is so romantic and it can feel like a movie. And I think for the young kids, it'd be a great opportunity for parents or grandparents to talk to them about their great grandparents, or, bring a little bit of family in. Here's a picture of your great granddad. He was in the war. Let's go hear some music that he would have liked to listen to. Because that's how I fell in love with the 1940s, was speaking with my own grandfather, who I mentioned in my show, who was a veteran of World War II. And I just think it's such a great opportunity to educate the kiddos about the greatest generation and what that group of people went through and how important it is for us to keep that memory alive. But as far as like people my age, it is a romantic date night. Your girlfriend will really be, I think it's so romantic.
I know.
Music of the 40s. You just can't beat it.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, we got to get that out there and try to push that. So you're going to be performing till the 23rd of December, like the whole month. What's up, girl? Are you not sleeping? I mean, what are you doing?
Well, now that we've passed opening weekend, I can have a nap. I did sleep in today. I was very thankful for that. So it's just mostly keeping up my rehearsal process and making sure that the show stays fresh between shows. Just filling this holiday season with as much fun and joy as I can, and appreciating every moment, because it's going to be gone before I know it. And, headlining your first show ever, is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'm just trying to soak it all in as much as I can. And if I don't sleep as much, then that's fine. I'll sleep in January.
You go, girl. It's like I want to come back and see it again. It was so good.
Oh, I would love to have
I'll
you. I would love
definitely
to have
definitely gonna
you.
come back again and see it for sure.
Love.
For sure, because I was in the mood the day. My rule is no Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. So I'm so glad that this was a Friday after. What a way to open up my holiday season than to come and
Aw.
hear you sing these amazing songs and a few of those Christmas songs too. That was
That's so
awesome.
kind. Thank
So let's
you.
talk about the band. Let's talk about Sean and I think it was Dave and these guys. Let's talk about each one of them.
So Sean and I have been together since 2015. He was the one who got me hired at Sierra Madre Playhouse for Always Patsy Cline. And anytime I go anywhere or do anything that has a budget, I bring him with me. He's just my go-to guy. He's the backbone of all of my shows.
Yeah.
Dave, the saxophone and
Oh.
clarinetist, he's fantastic. And he's a new find for us this year.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a friend of our bass player, Mike Flick.
Okay.
And so we were so happy to find him. We really wanted a multi-instrumentalist and somebody who could really bring in the feeling of the 40s and the big band era.
Yes.
That was so important for us in the show. Mike Flick is our bassist, and he's been with me since 2015 as well. He was the bassist for Always Patsy Cline. We like to, I like to keep it old home week. And, I'm loyal. I'm a loyal gal. Whenever I find people that I like to work with, I'm always going to call them back. And Jim Miller is our drummer. And he is just, he's just like the glue that holds us all together. He's always got a smile on his face. And he is such a joy. And I think the biggest disaster in this show, Jim is hidden behind those drums because he is always acting and being a part of things. And so if you see this show and you get the opportunity to get a sightline on Jim, I think you need to watch him a little bit because he's a cherub. And he's just always a bright light on that stage. And I just love this band so much. And it's such a privilege to play with them every night.
Yeah, I'm over on the one side. I think I was on the right side to your left, and he, which he was there, I was in the second row, and I find myself like this, like, oh, look at him, he's like laughing, and he's just, how does he play? And he's smiling, and I was engaged just by him for quite a bit.
Yeah, and he has a little Santa hat that he puts on his hi-hat, and it's my favorite thing. He forgot for opening night, and I told him, I said we were going to have to cancel this show because you forgot your Santa hat.
He did. He hit his bells though. He was a good jingler.
Oh, we love his bells. So he's now got his tiny Santa hat on his drums.
To come back then.
we can continue with the show. So I was.
Oh my gosh! So will you have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday shows? What is the schedule actually?
We have Friday and Saturday evenings at 8 p.m. And we have Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. And I sure wish y'all would sell out all these shows. That way we could add some more. We put 15 shows in, and of course the matinees are selling out really quickly because a lot of people don't want to be out after 8 p.m. But let me encourage you, go have a really nice meal in Sierra Madre, walk around and see the Christmas lights, and go out late like when you were a kid. Let's just pretend like you were a kid again and have that late night Friday night, and I don't think you'll regret it.
And actually, I would like to tell people too that people from LA area and Azusa area can actually they have the Gold Line that goes right there, and then they could just Uber right to it, and then they don't have to worry about driving. They could have a few little cocktails and be able to get home using the Gold Line and Uber drivers.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that Dave, our saxophone player, he takes the train. So if you're on the train, you might be sitting with Dave, the sax player, and you could pick his ear about his musical talents.
I like when you brought him up on stage, and he just seemed like he was so shy, but boy, once he started playing that shyness went away.
He is the cutest. He is he's also a gem. They are all the guys in the band are just wonderful.
And now, what about, do you have social media for yourself? Because I'll be putting up the Sierra Madre. What do you have?
My whole name, Cori Cable Kidder. It's at Cori Cable Kidder on all. I think I'm the only one in the whole world.
I think
so. Pretty much any social media, YouTube. If you type in Cori Cable Kidder, I'm the only one that's going to come up. Cable's not a last name; it's actually my true middle name. Some people think I'm hyphenated, but I'm not.
Really?
So my parents named me after the movie The Swamp Thing with Adrienne Barbeau. Her name was Detective Cable. So And Cori was just to go with cable. So, and my dad likes alliteration. So just Google me and I come up on every platform, and love to connect on social media. Send me a message and I'd love to respond.
Great. And let's get this out. Give us a last little word about your what you're looking forward to for people that see your show.
I really just want to bless people the way I've been blessed. I hope that I can bring a little bit of joy. I know times are hard, money is tight, and we all deserve a little respite and a little bit of happiness. And I hope to bring that with this show. I hope to remind people of their childhoods. I hope to remind people of their parents and their grandparents. And I just hope that it's a 2-hour journey away from all of your troubles and your strife. And I'd love for you to come out and enjoy the show with me. I go out to the lobby after every show.
Yes.
Sometimes nobody's there, and sometimes people have waited around. But if you come to the show, be assured that this is a small town production. And if you'd like to meet me, I'm more than happy to meet you. So come on out and let's have a really, really wonderful time and ring in the Christmas holiday and the New Year.
And that's what I like too. It's special because we're seeing you up there on the stage, you're performing, you're singing, and then you come out and you've got a different gown on and it was just at that night it was opening, so there was some cake and a few other stuff, and you had a few words to say. But that's nice because then you get to come out and and then meet you and talk to you, and it's great to have questions that we have answered by the star that we're watching of the show, and that was great. So
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you were there. It was such a pleasure to meet you. And yes, just for future reference, opening nights at Sierra Madre Playhouse are a to-do. We have champagne and wine and cake and cookies. So, don't miss our opening nights going forward, because it's absolutely worth it.
But even folks, that's come and gone. There's still more shows, and it is really amazing to because it's all about family. It always should be. So imagine having your grandfather who's still here, and still able to get around, and then go talk about his dad. Just bring them to this, because it's such great family memories it would be such an amazing thing to talk about on the way home, and you'll continue to talk about it. So
that's my dream.
Yes. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I'm so excited that you had the time, and it was wonderful being able to meet you in person and to watch this amazing holiday spectacular.
Judy, you're lovely, and I thank you for your kind words, and I certainly can't wait to see you again at the show. And
I'm definitely coming back.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.